after we finish, wait, watch me put my instrument down, and then we can stand up together, and then Yuna can bow first. Okay, okay. Wait, watch Yuna bow and the bow with. Okay, okay. Or should I?
and welcome to the 2021 Seoul Foreign Middle School Grade 8 Promotion Ceremony. A special thank you to all of the parents, grandparents, families, and friends that are joining from around the world to celebrate this special group of students. Grade 8 students, we are so very proud of you. You have shown incredible energy, perseverance, and grit throughout your middle school years. Yes, the last 2 years have looked very different from what we ever expected, and yet you have done so well and accomplished so much. To the middle school teachers and staff, thank you for your endless time, dedication, and passion as role models and educators to our students. And to the grade 8 parents, thank you for your commitment to and partnership with Seoul Foreign Middle School. On that note, please join me in welcoming the grade 8 students as they put their final stamp on their middle school journey and as we officially welcome them as high schoolers.
Good afternoon. It is my privilege. My name is Paul Kim to be praying with you guys this afternoon. So bow with me as we start this evening with a prayer. James 1:17. Every good thing given and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no variation or shifting shadow. Dear God, we thank you for this great day of celebration. We thank you for these wonderful lives that are standing here today, looking back at the blessings of middle school as they also embrace the new adventure. God, one of the challenges of adolescence is the various changes that happen in that stage of life. And with COVID, this year's 8th grade class has definitely experienced even greater uncertainty each day. So we thank you that you're an unchanging God who continues to protect and love our students through the loving care of their parents, teachers, mentors, friends, and more. Let today be a time of celebration of all that you have done. And I pray that you will inspire and give peace to this class of 2025 in their transition to high school and more. Thank you for the precious gift of life and what you will do through these incoming freshman students. In the name of Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen. You may be seated.
Welcome, students. Welcome, parents, for what is an important transition, a move from middle school to high school, whether it's at SFS or different parts of the world. I have been told to keep this very short because there are a number of people who need to speak and we have our ceremony to have. But I do want to say just a couple of words about how impressed I have been by the middle school, and particularly grade 8. All of the messages that have come out of the middle school about this particular grade has been one where students have really risen to the challenge. And it has been a challenge. The important thing, students, is that when things happen like we have throughout the world at the moment, the thing that distinguishes those people who prosper and those who struggle, it's about focusing on what you can do and what you can't do. And if you continue to hold that in your mind as you move on to this next stage of your learning, then you cannot go too far wrong. I do want to say a special thank you to all of the people who've been involved in your education over the period of, particularly over the last 3 years in the middle school. Teachers, staff, and your parents, all of whom are invested in your success. Rely on the people around you. They can help you as you meet the challenges that you face. But ultimately, it's down to you. You've done a great job so far. Treat this as an opportunity, a springboard to even greater successes. I wish you a great ceremony and a great transition onto the next stage of your learning. Good luck and God bless.
Wellington 10 Mathematics Award. The Wellington 10 Mathematics Award is presented annually to the 8th grader who is considered the best overall math student. It is given in honor and memory of Wellington Tang, a Chinese-American boy and SFS student who died tragically at the end of his grade 8 year in 1957. At the time, his parents presented the award in memory of their son, who had outstanding ability in mathematics. It has been awarded almost every year since 1957. And it is now the oldest award at Seoul Foreign School. The award given by the Tangs is represented by this stirring silver cup which is kept in the middle school office. Until 1989, the name on the awardee were engraved on the cup itself, but now they are listed on the flag in the middle school atrium. Seated before you is an incredible group of diligent, innovative, and resourceful mathematicians. It was a joy to teach and interact with each of them, making it even more difficult to choose this year's award recipients. And yet, it gives me great pleasure to present this 2021 Wellington Tang Mathematics Award to Alex Kill.
Good afternoon, everybody. Middle School Achievement Award 2021. This is such a joy for me to be a part of this wonderful ceremony. And I'm so honored to have worked with such a fantastic group of students and teachers this year. It is my pleasure to award the Seoul Foreign Middle School Achievement Award, which recognizes the 8th grade student who's reached the highest level of academic performance among his or her peers during his or her time in the middle school. This award is based on the total criterion points earned in his or her MYP courses during his or her time in the middle school. In order to be eligible for this award, an 8th grade student must have attended the middle school all 3 years. After meticulously checking our records to determine this year's winner, it is my honor to present this award to Chloe Han.
Seoul Foreign Middle School Award. This award is given by the middle school faculty to the student who has, in the opinion of the faculty, contributed the most to the life of the school. It is the highest award given in the middle school, and it is an honor to receive. The student receiving this award must have been enrolled as an 8th grade student at SFS the entire year, have a good attitude, exhibit a high degree of school spirit, relate well to fellow students of all social and cultural groups, relate well to teachers and administrators, be a good representative of Seoul Foreign School, be involved in extracurricular activities, display good manners, and be a positive role model for other students, have a responsible attitude towards academics and acceptable grades, serve others, and display personal integrity. The following are descriptions written by the middle school faculty of this year's recipient. All-around positive student who strives for excellence in all pursuits. This student is kind, creative, intelligent, giving 100% effort to everything, with 100% joy. This student is always smiling, either in the classroom or in virtual learning. This student is caring, looking out for others' well-being, and truly a good listener. In 6th grade, students nominated one another for the end-of-year awards, and this student was repeatedly nominated by peers for several awards, more than any other student. This student is always one of the happiest and most positive students in the class. This student is a constant source of joy and light. This student has a kind heart and is friendly to everyone, thanking teachers on the way out the door, praising peers, and genuinely trying to make everyone's day better. This student is good-natured while being well-rounded in her studies and school life. When no one else will volunteer or participate in class, this student is always willing to share ideas or opinions, and they are invariably well thought out and add value to our class. Others look up to this student for guidance and leadership, even though this student certainly is not the most boisterous or vocal. This student remains friendly with me today, even though I taught her 2 years ago. In soccer, this student is happy to play any role, position, or carry out any job on the team. This student is the ultimate team player with a selfless mentality. This student's infectious smile during soccer practice never failed to brighten my day or the other players on the team. This student is kind and caring to those around her. I've seen her put her work on hold in order to comfort others who are experiencing pain or who are grieving. This is a person of integrity, and her principled stance on topics that we discuss in class is admirable. Regardless of the day, whether it's a somber first period on Monday morning or a hectic last period on Friday, regardless of the topic or activity at hand, this student is always dialed in, enthusiastic, organized, and willing to give her best. This student has a trademark head nod, which she's always doing. It's her visual reaction to almost everything a teacher says. While other students may be daydreaming, in a comatose state, or distracted by friends, this student is always listening and nodding away with impeccable, laser-like eye contact. Her nodding is rocket fuel for a teacher. Throughout 7th grade, I saw how warm a person she is and told her these are exactly the traits that exemplify being an excellent SFS student. At the end of 7th grade, I looked her square in the eyes and told her, "You're going to win the middle school award next year." I'm happy to announce this year's middle school award recipient, Chloe Hahn. Now we would like to invite to the stage our two representative speakers for the class, Grace and Kevin.
Good afternoon, teachers, parents, and graduating 8th grade students. It is an honor and a pleasure to be standing here before you. Congratulations, 8th grade. We now are officially going to be 9th graders, high schoolers. We finally made it. Maybe not to the finish line we'd have liked, but to the halfway mark. And the halfway mark is just as important too. Some are moving, others are leaving, and the rest will see me in that building over there in a couple of weeks. This year, Mr. Knox told us to read some books, to finish some stories. And as the role model student I am, of course I didn't. but today I want to share one story I know by heart. It's about a girl who wears these circle-shaped glasses, a girl who moved here at the end of 7th grade, a girl who failed math miserably this year, actually. And she also multitasks, procrastinates, and definitely is the type of girl to overthink and cry at 3 a.m. Oddly specific, isn't it? All I know is that her story is far from over, and so is yours. Today is only a few chapters that have passed, or just a turning of a single page. To current 8th graders, to us, I want you to know that we all have the potential to grow and fill up our pages with good things. No, great things, in fact. No one can write your story for you, so follow the path of your story plot, not someone else's. In high school, discover your strengths and develop your weaknesses. Create goals and explore your dreams. Write your story with pride and satisfaction, to the point where your hand is running along the empty pages full of excitement. And with a little bit or a lot of effort, these pages will be filled with words before you know it. Pursue your dreams and achieve those goals that you made. We're one chapter closer to the ending, but we still have lots of blank pages left. Find the characters you are meant to meet and scratch out the things you want to erase. And it's more than okay to rip out a page you don't want or redo from the top. Today is a bittersweet day indeed. Today is a day where I say goodbye to many of my friends and to my childhood. Both my first ever friend here at SFS and one of my only core class friends are moving miles away from me. I know many of you will also say goodbye to something or someone today. It's hard to think that these people won't be written about in the next chapters of our lives, but life has to move on, and so do the stories that are to be told. To everyone here, I want you to write the stories you wish to tell, stories you remember, books that'll turn to memories. And nobody can guarantee it'll be easy. It most likely won't be, to be honest. But we learned how to prepare ourselves through middle school, and now we'll show that progress in high school. I hope you reach your happily ever after someday, whatever that may be or look like. Congratulations again. We survived middle school. Congratulate your friends, thank your teachers and parents, but more than anything, appreciate yourselves. This is your day. We made it. And maybe someday when I get older and through the mysterious works of fate, I'll have the chance to read those stories of yours. I'll be looking forward to it. Enjoy the rest of promotion, and thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, okay, sorry. On behalf of the Seoul Foreign Middle School's class of 2021, I would like to welcome all faculty members and loved ones joining us today. I remember in the first year of middle school, we were all just little kids roaming the halls of the MS building. We were so out of control that our teachers had to create a strike system just to keep us disciplined, and now I'm standing in front of all of you today giving a promotion speech. Just 4 more years to go until we graduate from high school, then maybe another few more that want to suffer through college education. When writing this speech just 1 week ago, I was struggling thinking of what to write, and I was struggling and how I could keep you all entertained. And then I thought about my first memory as a 6th grader, and I wanted to share that with all of you. It was the first day of school, and I just got off the bus with my 5th grade classmate, Brandon Lee. We walked up the stairs of the middle school, and we were immediately intimidated by the gigantic 8th graders, some of whom had full-grown mustaches. We often hear from our parents that we're growing rapidly, but we never really notice it ourselves. Even though it may sound corny or cheesy, it really does feel like it was just yesterday when all that happened. Before I give the classic advice and encouragement to everyone, I would first like to reminisce on the moments we've shared as a collective. Luckily, I've attended all 3 years of SFMS, and there were definitely both ups and downs in our time together. Some ups may include field days, field trips, and even though not many, kayak practices and competitions. Some of the downs may include the Ways of Knowing assignment, the Show Your Work section of the math assessment, and of course, our 6th grade happy lip sync video. But most importantly, this year we missed Chiang Mai, the legendary trip that former middle schoolers still talk about to this day. Might I add Caribbean Bay, the 7th grade retreat, and the Lotte World trip for some of us that got 3 strikes. As we all know, we've also been living in a pandemic, COVID-19. The sudden change in our lives are all a result of dealing with the virus, and some adjusted better than others, but we're all still here. However, these experiences are the reason we are here today, graduating from middle school and moving on to high school. Every student has experienced their fair share of disappointment, including me. I'll never forget when I first watched the Spider-Man movie. I leapt off the couch and told my mom that one day I was going to be Spider-Man. She looked at me and said, "Kevin, grow up. You graduate next week." By no means were these past 3 years easy for any of us. We faced countless challenges and obstacles that we've had to overcome. Now we're through the stressful days of MAP testing and onto the days of ACT and SAT testing. There's no doubt in my mind that high school will be just as challenging, if not more. But it's been a splendid 3 years with all of you, and I look forward to seeing you guys again in another 4 years. Thank you.
And now we'll have a special musical number.
The poetry reading for today comes to you from Rebecca Del Rio. This is entitled Prescription of the Disillusioned. Come new to this day, remove the rigid overcoat of experience, the notion of knowing, the beliefs that cloud your vision. Leave behind the stories of your life. Spit out the sour taste of unmet expectation. Let the stale scent of what ifs waft back into the swamp of your useless fears. Arrive curious without the armor of certainty, the plans and planned results of the life you've imagined. Live the life that chooses you, knew every breath, every blink of your astonished eyes. And the scripture reading comes to you from Isaiah chapter 43, verse 2. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze.
Good afternoon, 8th graders and faculty. I also want to extend a welcome to all of our parents, grandparents, relatives, and friends joining us online. I'm honored to stand before you to pay tribute to this year's fine group of young ladies and gentlemen. Today, we remember their time in middle school, close the chapter on their 8th grade year, and we celebrate their upcoming transition to high school. I want to start by saying congratulations and well done, 8th graders. You made it to the end of middle school. My address this afternoon will be focusing on the themes from Rebecca Del Rio's poem, Prescription of the Disillusioned, that was read by Mr. Knox. I'll be acknowledging the disillusionment that many of us have felt or are feeling. I'll share an analogy with you from an article that I recently read, and then we'll look to your future and what lies ahead. While it may be cliche to talk about the effects of the global pandemic, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the difficult journey that you've been on the last 16 months. The pandemic has left an indelible mark on your middle school years, and it's important that we acknowledge this reality. Before I address some of the challenges, let's first not forget about some of the positives. All of you benefited from the extra sleep you were able to get during virtual learning because you didn't have to travel to school or worry too much about what you were wearing. Most of you rolled up in sweats and a t-shirt. With that in mind, you have had more free dress due to virtual learning than any other 8th grade group that's been through the middle school since we began standardized dress. And let's not forget about Tales from the Third Floor, the lighthearted series of videos created for your entertainment during the pandemic about the mystery of Mr. G's elixir of life. Just so you know, it was me. Now, there are plenty of challenges that you've faced as well, like not seeing your friends for long stretches of time when you were fully virtual, strained eyes and the brain fog that you get from staring at a screen for hours on end, and the constant switching of schedules to accommodate the latest changes from the Seoul Metropolitan Office of Education are just a few of the challenges that you faced. Many of you are forlorn from the missed opportunities that are a result of COVID restrictions, missing out on the Chiang Mai trip this year, in Mirenes last year, not to mention the Paju trip and Korea Discovery Days. One of my favorite activities during 8th grade is to see how many of you can make it to the peak of Bukhansan Mountain during our trip to Bukhansan National Park during Korea Discovery Days. We never got to experience that together, and it's something that I wish we could have done. Beyond the missed trip opportunities, many of you have missed out on other special events that help define your middle school experience, like music concerts with a live audience, sports jamborees with other international schools, or performing in a musical. With all the challenges and missed opportunities that you've had to experience, I want you to know that it's normal to feel a sense of loss. Though we had to endure the realities of COVID and the restrictions associated with it, our reaction to and feelings about the hardships are unique to each of us, and how we mourn those losses we've experienced can take on a myriad of different emotions. Acknowledging our hurts naming our emotions and then processing them is an important and healthy way to express our feelings. It's my hope that you allow yourself to grieve these losses so that you can process them and move forward. Because of all the unknowns and the emotional roller coaster that you've been on the last year and a half, being at our best has been extremely elusive, if not impossible. It's hard to be focused, passionate, and committed to anything with so much uncertainty. I'm sure that many of you have struggled at times throughout the pandemic and that you haven't always felt like yourself. I'd like to share an idea with you that may help you better understand this challenge and give you a new perspective on what you've been experiencing. Part of my role as principal is to stay on top of research and trends that can support your learning and your teachers' professional development. During the pandemic, the educational community has produced a plethora of articles on the amount of stress the pandemic has caused students and teachers, the effects the stress has had on teaching and learning, and how schools can respond to support their students and teachers. As part of my regular vetting of articles, I came across a piece written by Austin Kleon that gave me a new perspective on the idea of productivity and being at our best during a pandemic. Mr. Kleon suggested that he and potentially many other people are currently dormant during the challenges of the pandemic because the conditions for flourishing are not right. Just as a seed and plants lie in waiting for the conditions to be right to grow and bloom, we should too wait, not being discouraged or anxious because the conditions for flourishing are currently not right. To add relevance to his piece, Mr. Kleon referenced history and the effect that a previous pandemic had on one of the greatest minds in science, Sir Isaac Newton. During the outbreak of the bubonic plague, Newton left the college he was attending in London and went to the countryside to his family's estate. While at home, Newton theorized the idea of gravity, but while working out the math, he made an error and his theory didn't actually work. Because he was isolated at home, he did not have access to a library or his peers to assist him with his work. Newton was said to have tossed his work on the theory of gravity into a drawer where it would sit for several years. It was only after a friend had asked him about Kepler's ellipses that Newton pulled the notes he had made out from the drawer to share them. While looking through the notes together, his friend spotted his math error and the proof of gravity was born. If one of the greatest scientists ever was not at his best during a pandemic because of his circumstances, I think you can and should give yourself a pass if you didn't feel like you were at your best the last 16 months. It's okay to be dormant during this time and know that you're not alone. As you look to your future next fall, it seems like we're getting closer to having the conditions right for you to shine again. Now that you've reached the end of your middle school journey, you may have mixed feelings about your experience. I would like to now turn to Rebecca Del Rio's poem for some advice and wisdom. In her poem, Prescription of the Disillusioned, she says, "Spit out the sour taste of unmet expectations. Let the stale scent of what-ifs waft back into the swamp of your useless fears. Today is about celebrating your future, so let go of any failures or unrealized plans that were part of your middle school experience. Let go of any what-ifs that torment you. Let yourself be happy in this moment and acknowledge how good it feels to be among your classmates and friends. Think about the fun you'll have tonight with each other once this ceremony concludes. Embrace the end of one chapter of your life entitled middle school and look forward to the next chapter entitled My High School Journey. As you look to the new horizon of next fall and the beginning of high school, I want to challenge you to live out the words used in the poem today. As Rebecca Del Rio says, arrive curious, without the armor of certainty, the plans and planned results of your life you've imagined. Live the life that chooses you, new every breath, every blink of your astonished eye. Whether you're entering Soulforeign High School or another high school next fall, embrace the fresh start of high school and all its possibilities. While I would bet that all of you have imagined what your 9th grade year and even your time in high school may be like, don't let your predetermined plans define you. Be open and willing to walk an undetermined path that would take you on an unplanned adventure. Follow the passions that you've discovered in middle school and walk a path that is guided by what makes you feel most alive. I'm fully aware that new journeys and uncharted lands can be scary and intimidating. Know that you will not be making this journey alone. Even if you're moving on to another high school, you will have classmates and new friends ready to help, teachers and counselors working with you on your transition. Most importantly, you can be comforted by the fact that God will always be with you regardless of where you go and what your circumstances are. This point is made clear in the verse I chose for today from Isaiah chapter 43, verse 2. And it reads, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze." No matter where you go to high school, no matter the journey you have through it, God will always be with you, ready to hear your struggles and support you when things get tough. So look to the future with confidence in your unknown journey, because God has got your back. In closing, I hope you look back on your time in middle school with fondness, knowing that there were plenty of twists, turns, and bumps along the way. While the last 16 months have been tough, remember to acknowledge the feelings you have and know that the time of being dormant is coming to an end. A new adventure awaits you next fall. Enter high school curious and willing to follow your passions, knowing that it will be a wonderfully exciting time of your life. May God richly bless each one of you. Thank you. And now we're going to transition to the awarding of our certificates.
Tilly Batman.
Take your mask off. Carter Rulov.
Nathan Carr.
Haram Chu. Grace Cho.
Ian Che.
Ina Che.
Dylan Choi.
Unche Sarah Choi. Sarah Choi.
Gwyneth Chun.
Changuk Chung.
Chloe Chung.
Kevin Chung.
Alice Chung.
Jahaya Church.
Rose Decker. Rafael de la Libra de Toledo.
Samuel Forbes.
Chloe Han.
Danny Han.
Sophia Hurst. Benjamin Holcomb.
Ethan Ho. Hee-jae Hwang.
Jerome Jean.
Zachariah Kazem.
Alex Kill.
Aiden Kim.
Cameron Kim.
Chloe Kim.
Drew Kim.
Eleanor Kim.
Lauren Kim.
Ian Kim.
Irina Kim.
Joseph Kim. Naeun Kim.
Philip D. Kim.
Philip J. Kim. Sayan Kim.
Uchan Kim.
Claire Yura Kim.
Yenna Kong.
William Koo.
Yeju Ku.
Ashley Kwan.
Elena Kyung.
Kamian Lam.
Andrew Lee.
Ashley Lee.
Brandon Lee.
Jaejun Lee. Jian Lee.
Jenna Lee.
Mike Seungwon Lee.
Shiwoo Lee.
Taehoon Lee.
Yiram Ella Lee.
Leanne Maffey.
Callahan Mayo. Kelly Mizell.
Emily Moon.
Shinjin Moon.
Justin Oh.
Wutek O.
Jibin Pak.
Emma Rysakova.
Marika Saito.
Lucas Santos Xavier Pinto. Joseph Seliger.
Kevin Hyungju Shim. Chloe Heju Shin. Sydney Son.
Joseph Song.
Caitlin Song.
Ethan Suh. Dominic Sestarsik. Isabella Valerio.
Tony Wang.
Nicholas Watson.
Sienna Wan.
Stephanie Wu.
Julia Yang.
David Yap.
Edward Yun.
Alex Yum.
Jennifer Yu.
Daniel Yu.
Philip Yun.
Leah Yu.
Now to officially receive you into the high school, our high school principal, Mr. Jeff Holcomb.
Thanks for starting the applause, Mr. Smith. I appreciate that. Middle school students, Mr. Smith, parents, families, honored guests, I'm very privileged to be here as the high school principal to formally welcome you into the high school. At this point, I'm never sure who's more afraid. You guys, at the prospect of another adult with a microphone, a podium, and lots of advice to give you that's going to be boring, or Mr. Smith, who never knows what I'm going to speak about from year to year. It's hard to tell. I'm going to make a quick check. I think it's Mr. Smith. 2 years ago, the topic was rites of passage and circumcision. Yeah, that was a little scary. Last year, we went more mundane. We talked about a wooden spoon that stirs coffee. Today, I've chosen hell and happiness. Yeah. Now, it's not a reference, just so you know how hot it is out here. I think you guys are actually the coolest of all the graduation ceremonies that I've been a part of. So very grateful, actually, it's not too hot. And it's not a reference of moving from the middle school to high school, hell and happiness. That's not where we're going with this. But I do want you to start by picturing in your head what you think hell could be like. So sort of formulate your own picture. I spoke to a couple 8th graders earlier, and they said their biggest fear was tripping, coming across the stage, holding their diploma upside down, or falling off the stage at the end. Yeah, so maybe that's your picture of hell. Maybe you have a different one. One of my favorite pictures comes from one of my favorite authors. His name is C.S. Lewis. And in a book called The Great Divorce, he pictures hell as this. Hell is a place where people can have anything they want just by wishing it. Does that sound like your picture of hell? I first read that and I thought, oh man, that sounds a little bit like heaven, actually. Yeah? Anything I want, I just wish it. A thing, a possession, a title, some status, any of that I could just have by wishing it. But C.S. Lewis's picture of hell is a spot where people can wish what they want, and they continue to wish and chase the things that they want while moving farther and farther away from other people. And each new thing that they get, that they imagine, satisfies for a short while, then doesn't satisfy, and they move on to more and more things and become more and more isolated from people until they reach a spot where they are entirely alone, surrounded by everything that they want. I love that picture of hell from C.S. Lewis, partly because science now agrees this and backs this up. There's been lots of research on happiness, and what scientists have found is that people who try to be happy end up miserable. But what scientists have found is that if you want to be happy, you need to live a life that's meaningful. You need to know your why. You need to know why you're created and why you love doing what you're doing. You need to have a sense of purpose and of meaning, and that is usually found in a community in serving other people. So, the promotion class of 2021 from the middle school, soon to be high schoolers, I want to challenge you and welcome you. No advice. I want to welcome you to the high school. There's a building right over there, and there's more than 500 students that want to welcome you into the high school and want you to become a part of our community. We want you to bring all of your experiences, all of your talents, all of your gifts, your passions, the thing that makes you you, your why, what you were made for and who you are. We want you to come and share that with the high school community. That will make us more complete and you more complete as well. And I also want to give you a charge. My charge to you would be, find your purpose and find it in serving other people, because that is really where you become truly happy. As the high school principal, I would like to formally welcome the promotion class of 2021 from the middle school to join as the class of 2025 into the high school. Whether you're coming to this high school building or whether, like me, you may be moving to a different high school next year, I want to declare you as officially finished with middle school and now high school freshmen. Welcome.
It is my distinct pleasure to be able to offer a few last words before we continue this celebration. And so I have 3 pieces of advice, 3 things that I hope that you would consider. The first one is to choose kindness and inclusion no matter what, no matter the circumstance, to always choose kindness and inclusion. The second part is to make sure that serving others is always your mission. That is always what you will consider. And the third is to seek justice in the world and to stand up for what you truly believe in. I can't wait to see what all of you are going to do and how you are going to impact and make this world a better place. Congratulations once again to the future class of 2025.